The sun was already beginning to set when Asta and his group reached the graveyard. It was getting darker by the minute, but it didn't bother Asta at all, since he had extinguished his sense of fear long ago. As they entered the cemetery, Asta could feel the hairs on his arms stand up, and he noticed that Yami and Langris were doing the same. It wasn't anything dangerous, just the energy emitted by this place. The cemetery was gigantic, way bigger than the one in Hage. There were all kinds of tombs here, some in the shape of pyramids, others in the form of strange statues or animals. And there were even a few tombs that were shaped like real living people. Asta walked over to one of them and read the name carved into the stone, Marola. The name was familiar to him for some reason. He couldn't remember where he'd heard it before, though. Langris spoke up. "This is quite the graveyard. To think that we would end up fighting demons here of all places." "You don't have to worry, little crow. We're not here to fight," said Yami with a smile. "We're here to be saved." "What?" Asta was confused. "What do you mean?" Yami put his hand on Asta's shoulder and explained, "To get the eye of the midnight sun, we need to make a deal with the devil that resides in this graveyard. That's why I brought you here, Asta." Suddenly, a large stone door made of black marble appeared behind them out of nowhere. It was adorned with symbols that seemed to writhe like living things. A voice then boomed from within. "Who dares disturb the slumber of the graveyard demons?" From behind the door, shadowy figures began to emerge. They looked like pale, emaciated specters with sharp teeth, claws and eyes that burned with an eerie red light. They surrounded Asta and the others, their gazes fixed on the intruders. One of the devils stepped forward and spoke in a raspy voice. "I am the guardian of this place, Fami. State your purpose for coming here." "I am Yami Sukero, captain of the Black Bulls. I come to you today to make a request," Yami replied. "I want to make a contract with the devil who rules this graveyard so that I can obtain the eye of the midnight sun." The guardian looked at Yami with a cold, emotionless gaze and said, "Why should we help you? What benefit would we gain from it?" "In exchange for your help, I will grant you any wish you may have," Yami offered. The guardian narrowed his eyes and asked, "Are you sure you can grant our wish? You humans are known for being deceitful." "Of course," Yami said confidently. "Anything you wish." The guardian fell silent for a moment as he considered Yami's offer. Finally, he spoke again. "Very well. We accept your proposal. However, we shall see whether or not you are worthy of our assistance." With that, the guardian raised his hand and a swirling portal ended up before Asta and the others. "Enter if you dare," he challenged. Without hesitation, Asta and Yami walked through the portal. On the other side, they found themselves in a vast chamber illuminated by torches on the walls. In the center of the room sat a throne made of bone, and at its base lay 5 coffins. Each coffin was ornately carved with macabre designs. Asta felt a sudden chill run down his spine as he sensed the powerful presence emanating from the coffins. The guardian of the cemetery approached the throne and motioned for Asta and Yami to wait there while he went to awaken the devil. As the minutes ticked by, Asta couldn't shake off the uneasy feeling that had settled upon him. He knew that whatever decision he made here would have far-reaching consequences. Suddenly, the guardian turned back to Asta and Yami and said, "The Great Lord has agreed to hear your request. Approach the throne and speak your desires." Asta and Yami walked towards the throne, each lost in thought. When they reached the foot of the bone throne, Asta hesitated for a moment before speaking. "My wish is to obtain the eye of the midnight sun. I believe it will help bring balance to the world." The guardian scoffed and replied, "Such an ambitious wish. Very well, the Lord shall grant your wish. But know this, you must pass a test of worthiness first." Before Asta could respond, the ground beneath them rumbled violently. The coffins began to shake and dark energy started to seep out from beneath them. From the depths of the cemetery, A chorus of demonic voices rose, chanting and howling with unearthly ferocity. Asta felt a surge of dark magic envelop him, threatening to consume his very essence. He instinctively drew his swords, ready to defend himself against whatever horrors might emerge from the shadows. Then, right before Asta's eyes, the coffins burst open and skeletal figures clad in tattered robes clawed their way out. Their eyes glowed with malevolent red light, and their mouths were twisted into cruel smiles, revealing rows of sharp, jagged teeth. Asta cried out in surprise as a horde of these ghastly specters descended upon him. Each one seemed determined to tear him limb from limb. Overwhelmed and desperate, he swung his swords wildly, hoping to fend off his attackers. As the battle raged, Asta could feel his strength draining away. The devils were relentless, their attacks coming from all sides, and each strike chipped away at his resolve. He stumbled backward, his breathing growing heavier with each passing moment. Just when he thought he might be overwhelmed, a figure suddenly appeared beside him. It was Yami, his presence a beacon of strength in the midst of the chaos. With a flick of his wrist, Yami unleashed a wave of dark magic that sent the devils flying. In that instant, Asta felt a renewed surge of power coursing through him. Yami's support gave him the strength to stand tall once more. Together, they continued to fight, their movements a symphony of power and grace. But even as they fought, Asta couldn't help but wonder what the true purpose of this battle was. Was it merely a test of their strength, or was there something more sinister lurking in the shadows? As the fight intensified, Asta realized that this was no ordinary battle. This was a clash between darkness and light, between despair and hope. And he knew that the fate of the world hung in the balance. With renewed determination, Asta let out a powerful roar and charged into the fray, his swords flashing in the dim light. He fought with every ounce of strength he possessed, driven by the belief that he could make a difference. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the last of the devils fell. Exhausted but triumphant, Asta and Yami stood amidst the ruins of the battlefield. The guardian approached them, his expression unreadable. "You have proven yourselves worthy," he announced. "The Lord shall grant your wish." Asta and Yami exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing between them. Yami stepped forward and said, "Very well, we accept the eye of the midnight sun." As soon as the wish was granted, the air crackled with power, and the eye of the midnight sun materialized in Yami's hands. It pulsed with a cold, ethereal light, promising untold power and knowledge. However, as Yami reached out to take the eye, the guardian suddenly struck, his attack swift and unexpected. Yami, caught off guard, stumbled backward, dropping the eye to the ground. The guardian loomed over Yami, his eyes blazing with malice. "Foolish humans," he hissed. "You have awakened something best left undisturbed. Now you shall witness the true power of the Graveyard Devils." With that, the guardian vanished, leaving Yami and Asta in the eerie silence of the chamber. Suddenly, the ground trembled and a deep, guttural voice echoed through the room. "So the humans have found their way to the eye of the midnight sun, so be it. Let them have it. If they wish to control such power, let them become the playthings of the Graveyard Devils." From the depths of the earth, a colossal figure emerged, its eyes burning with infernal fire. Its skin was a patchwork of decaying flesh and bone, and its body was adorned with the skulls of countless victims. The creature raised its hands, sending bolts of dark magic crashing down around Yami and Asta. Yami and Asta were forced to flee, running through the labyrinthine tunnels beneath the graveyard as the creature pursued them relentlessly. They could hear the creature's enraged bellows echoing behind them, shaking the very foundations of the cemetery. And they knew that if they didn't escape, they would be trapped forever in the subterranean labyrinth.